Hello, 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 and welcome back to the 29th episode of the Nifty Cauldron podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Milan, joined by my lovely co-host,
Kelly Deb.
the one and only. Before we jump into it, if you like what we do, leave us a like, maybe leave a comment, maybe even leave a dislike. Subscribe, hit the little bell for our weekly episodes. That out of the way. This week, we decided to do an anime special because new season starting or has started, and we both fell in love with Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yes.
Rightfully so, might I add.
That's so good, dude. Honestly, since I've watched it, one, I haven't obsessively consumed anime content like that since probably I don't even know. I don't even know where the last time. I mean, I was pretty obsessed with Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, but I literally was so obsessed after, seeing a bunch of my friends create fan art and create, different hot takes and stuff on Jujutsu Kaisen, just memes mostly were this is like Naruto if it was actually good, LOL kind of thing. So hearing the memes and the jokes and stuff, I decided to check it out, and it was a banger, absolute banger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. And I'm I obsessively consumed that content in a span of 3 days. I watched all the episodes.
I would say you were even lucky that you not discovered it, but that you started watching it after it ended. So you could watch all of it in just one sitting. Because
Oh yeah.
I think I jumped in around episode 2 or 3 is when I started watching it.
Ooh,
And some of the cliffhangers were like,
insufferable. You're just like, what happens next?
I have to wait another week. Oh no, So in that sense, I think you lucked out a little bit
Yeah.
by just being too busy to watch it until then.
Honestly, yeah, especially because man, for me it's really a feast and famine when it comes to content. I'm not one of those people that actually waits and watches the episodes as they come out kind of thing. I think that the last show that I actually watched the episodes as they kind of came out was Dr. Stone. But even then I started waiting until two or three there'd be 2 or 3 intervals before I would go back and watch, so then I had something to I'm more of a binger, I want to say. I obsessively consume content, and I need at least 2 episodes to feel like I'm peaking, I guess. I don't know. Is that a good word for it?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel you. I am also a binger, but I'm also impatient. I do think for a lot of people, the weekly episode style works because then you get to talk about with your friends and you get to be hype and you get to speculate. I don't do that. I just have to wait in silence. Like, okay, I guess I'll wait another week because I consume a lot of anime. Like usually every season I start with 10 plus. So and none of my friends really do. So even the ones that I would want to talk about, I really can't. But Jujutsu Kaisen, love it. I think it did everything right.
Yes, agree. The only thing that I kind of have a feeling for with it right now is I feel like they might be potentially power creeping a little too fast because now Megami,
Mm-hmm.
right, who is the shadow guy, he can already if you're not current, please discontinue listening to this podcast because there will be spoilers.
Current with the anime, to be clear.
Yeah, current with the anime. So the fact that he can use a Dominion expansion and stuff like that is as a first year is already kind of a little power creepy in my opinion. So that's my one worry. However, I don't know if Jujutsu Kaisen is going to be a very long running series or show because I kind of felt that way with Demon Slayer, and then the Demon Slayer manga ended. The mangaka actually ended it. They were okay, no, we're ending. We're taking it in for the landing. So the power creep was justified because the series actually ended versus something where I feel like One Piece is just kind of gently sniffing at power creep at this time, but it makes sense because you have to have this kind of ability in order to even get to the grand line kind of thing.
And One Piece is ending.
Yeah.
Soonish, I would say. Next 5 years, maybe. Manga.
5 years is a long time for me.
It's nothing in One Piece years. Let's be real.
For sure. It's nothing in One Piece years, but I mean that's a long running if you think about Demon Slayer, I don't know how long Demon Slayer was, but I feel like it kind of took off and ended within a 3-year period.
I mean, to touch upon the Demon Slayer, I think we touched upon it in our Demon Slayer episode. It was in a very unique position where the manga was doing really bad and Shonen Jump basically told the author like, hey, you need to wrap it up because you're not getting the readers. And that's why the villain gets introduced so early. And then people were all hyping about the show. So then it picked up again. So I don't think it ended or went the way they wanted. So I think Demon Slayer is not a good comparison. Jujutsu Kaisen, though, the power creep, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Specifically, the domain expansion, right? Like, it's literally countered by a stronger domain expansion, right? I think if anything, the main character doesn't really have a goal beyond eat all the fingers, and then we'll see what happens, right?
Yeah.
If he gets exercised or if he gets him under control or what'll happen there. But I do think there's definitely an ending coming. I think the manga is still ongoing. Not 100% sure because I'm honestly not a manga reader, but I'm pretty sure it is ongoing to this day.
Yeah, I think it is ongoing. So I think like the latest volume number that they have is like 15.
Hmm.
So they're up to 15. I think Demon Slayer ended after 21 volumes. So I think the manga started being serialized 2018. So it's been going for 3 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not exactly sure about that's just like my one hesitation with it. But I mean, the characters are just so good. There is okay. So for me, whenever I watch like particularly like a shonen, I always kind of get that feeling where I'm just like, there's always that one character where I don't like them.
Right.
Like I just don't. Like in Naruto it was Sasuke. But like in this series, there's like not a character that I dislike. I'm genuinely am like, yeah, this character's got some good selling points, or yeah, I'm into this, or there's literally not a character I'm just like, wow, I would never like to see them on screen again, kind of thing. And I usually have at least one with the shonen. Like I literally always have at least one. But I just don't. I don't with Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah.
Everybody's great.
I mean, I don't like the current main antagonist. So I guess as a prefix for this episode, I'm really bad with remembering names. So you're gonna have to forgive me as I describe everything to Kelly. The dude like who can touch your soul.
Oh, the what's his name? He's got the puppet, the puppeteer. You can touch your soul. He's got the stitch marks on his face.
Yeah, exactly. I am not a fan of him, but you're not supposed to really like him because he's like almost evil for the sake of being evil in an interesting way. So I think, job well done there. But there's definitely characters I don't like as much, but they fulfill a role or they do what they're supposed to do. So overall, it's really great. And animation, top notch. Openings, endings, bangers, voice acting, A plus. It's just, it's just doing everything right. Like it even, the only thing missing so far is like a tournament arc. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, the thing is I felt like the tournament arc was going to be the arc in which the two schools were like fighting against each other, but then
yeah. And
it
then it
wasn't.
wasn't. But to be fair, I didn't see it coming.
Yeah,
Like that was like, oh snap. When it happened, it really caught me off guard in a good way when the special grade just showed up. Which is again like another reason why I think the power creep isn't as bad because they haven't really like defined special grade, right? It's just like they're special grade, but all special grades have like different power levels. Therefore, this one could be 100 times stronger, right? And still technically be in the same level.
yeah. At the same time, though, it's like with special grade, it's just like too wide of a net, and so you don't really know.
Yeah,
Yeah, like you were saying,
but that's on purpose, right?
so when it comes to like special grades, I feel like it's too wide of a breadth of what they can and can't be, I guess.
Hmm.
Because when you're watching the series, you never even get to see a level 1 for the most part. It just goes immediately from like what, the level 3 curses, the level 2 curses, they skip one and then everything's just special grade, special grade, special grade from that point on. So I felt like they could have probably taken a little bit more time and kind of flushed out, maybe did some more character building, but maybe like this is their whole shtick. Like they just want to go fast.
Yeah,
And if so, that makes me worried for, potential power creep in the future.
I can understand that, right? Like, because we're just getting to know Yuji, and it does feel like everything's kind of set up for him to advance fast. Like he's already before he became a sorcerer, he's already breaking Olympic records, and it's just his physical prowess is just through the roof.
Hmm.
But I also don't know if the show would have been as good if we all fought like the lower, or if they not we, if they fought lower level curses. Purely because he's new, but his teammates, well, they're technically still new, but not entirely.
Yeah.
So it would be kind of like imbalanced, and I think the fights would have had to been like very quirky, and we would probably run into the trope of like keep separating the team so that Yuji could fight the weaker curse on his own. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I definitely like see what you're saying, but I don't know. It didn't like break immersion for me. It wasn't like a awful thing or anything like that. It was just something that makes me a little hesitant for the future. of, the power creep. But I mean, there was the arc in which they are going to do like the tournament thing, and then we had that fantastic baseball episode. Oh, chef kiss, chef kiss. Loved the baseball episode because we love a good sports anime. But
Ironically, I didn't love it as much because it wasn't like a full-on proper baseball episode. Like I was expecting, like, oh, are we actually doing this? And then it was more of a gag thing. So like I was a little bit disappointed, but I could appreciate what it did.
yeah, but, like, before that, we had the attack with Hana, the flower, special grade, but then there was the guy with, like that wanted to turn the teacher into, like, a coat rack or something like that,
Yeah.
and he was, like, completely underwhelming in every way possible. They pretty much just had him in there to be like, "An insano clown man," kinda thing.
I mean, it's just setting up for future potentially, right?
For sure, but at the same time, it's just kinda like, "Okay, I snooze. I snooze on that fight. I hit snooze. I sleep." But at the same time, it's like seeing why Toto is so good and, like, his skill of Boogie Woogie where he's, like, clapping and, like, flipping spots and stuff like that, like, that was so sick.
It was such a well done fight. Definitely hats off to, I mean, both the creator for making it, but also to all the animators who worked on that because that is not easy.
The animation in the series is so
It
good.
is excellent. And every fight has been excellent, right? It's not just,
Mhm.
oh, we saved our entire budget just for this one specific fight, 20 episodes. And every fight they've shown has been excellent, amazing. I still go back. I mean, I say it like this aired years ago, but I still regularly go to YouTube to like watch clips just because it's so well done and it's exciting and it gets me pumped up, you know?
For sure. It's all the fighting is awesome. I also loved getting to see, just the animation too behind Gojo's eyes. Like whenever like he takes off the visor
Oh
and you
yeah,
get to see like how pretty his eyes are and like stunning,
yeah.
gorgeous, fantastic eyes. Give me some of those eyes, girl. Like they look so good.
They're not that detailed in the manga. Like I don't know if you've seen like that comparison screenshot
Mhm.
and like they give my boy some upgrades. You know what I mean?
Mhm. And then, yeah, when he uses his technique and then he like mixes like the colors and then he makes like that giant, basically like black hole, just like destroys everything in its path. Like the animation behind that scene too, and when he teleports that special grade, the one with the volcano head, I forget his name,
Hmm.
but he teleports him to his domain expansion or whatever, and like that fight was sick too. Just like all the detail that went into like animating, just like the just severe density of nothing and as nothingness as well as the infinite, like sick, sickening.
Yeah, I will say. So I love the infinite and that you can't touch him unless he wants you to touch him. I think that's really cool. Very strong, and I would say overpowered, but that's what they were going for. I would say that his color powers kind of fell flat for me, especially in comparison. Like they're not really creative yet. I don't know if they're gonna do anything about it, but I was like, oh, I don't think mixing colors and the color does something different is as creative as like the infinite and the void in between it, you know?
Yeah. At the same time though, it's like, I don't know, color theory, I'm living for it. I love it.
Yeah.
Sexy Kakashi 2.0, sign me up.
Well, sort of. I'm not a fan of the comparison that people are doing with that because, like, what he's a teacher and he covers at least one eye, even though he regularly takes off the headband
He does, yeah.
and he doesn't have a face mask. You know, like what Kakashi's face reveal happened. I don't know, 400 episodes in.
I think it was like 300 and something, but yeah.
Yeah, but in comparison, Gojo's face reveal happened like what 10 episodes in, 12. You know,
I think it was like 4 or 5, actually.
I don't know if it was that early, but like early enough where nobody really had to wonder, what he looked like underneath the mask.
That's true. I will say that the one fight where it's like the 2 brothers, it's like 3 brothers, but the 2 brothers like go after, the main character and
Yeah,
Nagisaki.
the last fight basically
Yeah,
of the season.
of the season, exactly. I thought that was really cool how she could use the nails and put them into her own body to like hurt somebody else. And like I love the fact that at the beginning of the series they're just like, "Oh yeah, like she's a psychopath. Like she's insane. She's crazy." And literally in that episode she's just like, "Yeah, let me just throw these nails into my skin. It's cool, bro."
Let's play chicken, see who succumbs first.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sickening.
I'm really glad that she's not delegated to like a support character or just like a useless side character. Like she's
Mhm.
more than pulling her own weight. She has her own interesting fights. I think her fight in the little tournament
Mhm.
training, like against the I forget her name, the witch girl who could fly on her broom,
Yeah.
was also like very interesting.
Mei Mei.
Yeah. So I think they're handling her well and just like you said, like establish her as a psychopath, but also give her enough personality, right? Like she takes it very personal if you
Oh,
like
yeah.
hit her in the face or things of that nature, and she can definitely keep up with her team. And I think
Yeah.
that's really well done because that's pretty rare to see in like I mean to use Naruto as as a direct comparison, right? Like Sasuke and Naruto left Sakura in the dust pretty quickly, and she kind of got delegated to like support character. I feel.
She did, and then it wasn't until after she, got trained by Tsunade did she, decide that she could use, like,
Yeah,
healing stuff and be super strong, but yeah, for sure.
but that was
That was
time skip, and but like how many episodes in is that? Like who really cares at that point in comparison to what Jujutsu Kaisen does, where she's still relevant, as relevant as she was at the start.
but let's actually take a moment and just go ahead and highlight Best Girl, who is totally Maki, by the way.
I love her so much.
Best Girl. Best Girl is Maki, dude. Best Girl is Maki, hands down. She is Best Girl. And since we keep tying this back into, Naruto, so she's essentially the Rock Lee of the series. So I'm also going to have a strong, affectionate kinship for her because I absolutely love Rock Lee. I think he's one of the best characters. And she is that way, she doesn't use jujitsu, she just uses cursed objects, and she just is really strong and powerful. And it just reminds me of Rock Lee because, he's a taijutsu genius and he can't use ninjutsu. So he just decided to be really strong in his own right. And that's why I think Maki is best girl.
I didn't make that connection until just now, but yeah, I
Bro, really?
yeah, I
Whoa,
mean
bro.
I didn't link the series in general to Naruto to begin with, so I never really thought of it that way.
Hmm.
But yeah, because she can't see curses. Not only did she make it work, she she's whooping that booty,
Yeah.
in every fight. Like her fight against the katana girl. I'm so bad at names. I'm sorry.
Miwa.
Thank you. I think that's one of my favorite fights.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's animated so well, like how she handles her bow staff, and she's very creative. How she just breaks the cursed object, like
It's fine.
you
Yeah.
know,
Now I got two weapons.
don't need it anymore. And then she just throws it away and just steals her sword. And then in the next fight, she just has the sword. She just literally took it.
Yeah.
It's just this is mine now.
Yeah, basically, she not only takes the weapon, but also she just has so much weapon prowess that she's able to use all these different artifacts and stuff.
Yeah.
Like the three segmented staff that she drops in the river, so then Toto can use it to fight Hana later. Think about it. You have to like know how to use every single one of those weapons, and they're all a different weapon style and a different weapon type, and she just has that versatility, and it's just that's why she's best girl for me.
Yeah.
IMO.
She's just a great character. But to be fair, they're all great characters, right? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we just kind of come back to that. It's not like just because she's the best that I don't, that I dislike somebody
Mhm.
as a result. I guess her sister,
Oh,
if anything.
yeah. I mean, I'm pretty skippers on Mai just because she's just gun emoji.
I mean, I think the gun is really cool.
But she sucks at it. She can't even shoot her sister. Come on.
I mean, like
Gun.
the trump card was really good. How she created an extra bullet.
Yeah.
If anything, she deserved that win based off of that IMO. But grabbing a speeding bullet is a thing, apparently. But I don't. Just her attitude, I'm not a fan of. It's that jealous sibling trope, right? And
Yeah.
eventually, she's at least gonna respect her or make up in some way like, in the future,
Mhm.
probably.
Maybe one of them dies.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I mean,
I mean,
I'm ready to just tug directly from the depressed hose.
I mean,
The
fair.
hose of sadness, just the garden hose, just straight drinking from it, and it's just the garden hose says depression on the side. Like I'm ready for it.
I was surprised that the show even dealt with such direct death. Obviously, after the grandpa passing, that's kind of
Yeah, we knew that was the setup.
yeah. But when Yuji was helping that dude for like what 2-3 episodes that arc lasted,
Oh yeah, and then he ended up just getting murked.
yeah, like I was really surprised. It was really good.
I was too because I thought I saw him at like the opening theme song or the ending, like he's sitting with him underneath a tree. And I was like, okay, so that guy's gonna make it. And he's gonna become like a jujutsu warrior. And then
Yeah,
two seconds later, he's murked. He's dead.
yeah,
He's gone. And I'm just like, wait, what?
Yeah, I was like, oh, like it's gonna be interesting to see how he'll save him and like how he'll like turn him into a sorcerer and like he'll probably become like a prominent character.
And no, he died.
Let's find out. And then
Bruh, he
he
dead.
got turned into a curse,
Yeah.
and then that's it. Like
Yeah.
curtains, you know.
Yeah, literally, because I swear I saw him either in a screenshot or something in the ending or the, beginning theme song. I swear I saw him sitting underneath the tree, and I was like, "Okay, that guy's gonna make it. He's gonna be the 4th in their crew," and then homie died, dude.
Yeah,
He just flat out died. He got murked.
yeah.
I was like, "Bro,
And then
what?"
that was it.
That was it.
Right? Like no, he maybe got mentioned
No,
an
literally
episode later. That
literally.
was it. It was just over.
He got murked, and then it was just salute him as he goes,
Yeah,
boys.
just
Salute him as he goes.
exit stage left, and he was gone.
He's
If
gone.
anything, I mean, obviously we knew that Yuji wasn't dead
Mhm.
when he killed himself like that,
Mhm.
but that was also a cool moment
Mhm.
where he just lost control and then like, well, for insurance, let me take out the heart.
Mhm.
I don't need this heart.
Yeah, it's literally, I feel like, Skuna is like the meme of the glasses that slide down, and then they just sit on his eyes and just says, "Deal with it." Yeah.
Yeah, but because also, I guess he kind of knew that was going to happen, that he would have to relinquish control again to Yuji. So
Mhm.
he could set up this negotiation where he makes a pact,
Mhm.
which we still know nothing about,
Yeah.
which I think is interesting. Like I would have assumed by now it would have procced. You would
Mhm.
have done something to make it proc, but nope, we're still.
Nope.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we don't find out until I don't know, like the last finger or something, where he just really has this very elaborate endgame plan.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. You just know that he's, low key infatuated with Megumi, and then you're just sort of like, okay. And he hasn't also used the, assuming direct control function of that pact yet. He's just been chilling, like watching in the shadows.
Yeah, I think they handled it really well because usually, at least from the anime I've seen, to even use Naruto again, the demon inside of them is kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like a Deus Machina, where they're losing and they draw from some unknown hidden power to overcome their obstacle and win the fight. But Jujutsu Kaisen doesn't do that. He just doesn't help. If anything, he just taunts him more when he's already down. Like I lost my mind when he just started laughing when he asked for help with his friend. And he's just like,
Yeah.
no,
It's like,
I'm just gonna laugh at you for 10 minutes,
yeah. Yeah, and then like his fingers get vaporized, and then when he goes and he takes over his body again, he's like, "Ah, man, I accidentally grew those back. I didn't want to do that."
My bad.
uh, yeah,
So I think they're handling the curse possession really well, and also like, hey, don't eat the finger yet, and then he just spawns a mouth on the hand and it goes like home.
yep, that sent me, but also I had a feeling it would happen,
I didn't.
but I love that it happened. I love.
Yeah, it's great. So the show is A tier, A plus tier.
Oh, 100%.
One of the best shows I would say ever made in every aspect, and I can't recommend it enough.
Agree.
Even if you're not a fan of shonen, because it's handling the shonen trope really well. It's not
Mhm.
spending like 30 episodes training. It's not doing anything of that. It's handling everything really well. The characters are also great.
Yeah, the pacing is excellent, if not just like a little fast even. Usually that's not what you get with the shonen. Typically they're, a montage of this person powering up for 35 episodes, then now they're going to do the thing. But yeah, the series does not do that. Every episode is action packed. Every character is great, and I literally can't recommend it enough. I'm completely obsessed. I can't wait for more. But now I have the issue where I'm gonna probably be watching, every episode as it comes out because at this point I'm obsessed. So now I kind of, low key hate myself. But c'est la vie.
Welcome to the club. First time. you know?
First time.
And now we all get to suffer together as we wait at cliffhangers every week. But I mean, to be fair, in compared to me, you actually do read manga.
Mhm.
So you might just be like, you know what? I'm not gonna wait anymore. I'm just gonna read.
I am getting to that point. That's literally what happened with me and Demon Slayer. Like I started watching the series. I was like, wow, this is really good. I'm going to read all the manga. And then I did.
Yeah. Like last time I did that, I got really burned. I think I don't remember if it happened exactly when the anime came out or if I did it before as like because it got announced. Last manga I read through, or most of it before I tapped out, was Attack on Titan. Did not really have a great time. So I'm not doing that again. But no, like for me, I don't like reading on screens is the main issue. Be it like a tablet, like be it like an e-screen, like a tablet, or on a PC monitor. I don't have a good time if I can't physically hold the book. So that's why I don't read manga.
I'm the opposite. I love it. I love a good e-read.
I don't, not even remotely. Like I don't know, it just feels wrong. Even though I love technology and everything involved with technology, and I'm glad e-readers exist because they make reading a lot easier and cheaper and all that. Just not for me. Like I need to feel the weight and I need to turn the pages physically.
Bro, I'm the opposite. If I could like melt my Kindle down, turn it into a serum, and inject it directly into my eyeball so that I could e-read all the time, I would.
I
100%.
mean, soon maybe Google will try again, but once you get like AR glasses, they'll just be able to project them onto your glasses.
Give me Ghost in the Shell. Hook me up directly to the internet. I'm ready.
Would you want that though?
Yeah, dude. And the second I can get bionic eyes, I'm in. I want a refund on these. These suck.
All right. I mean, go for it. You could be first generation. I'll wait a couple generations until they fix the kinks.
Oh no, I'll definitely wait. Yeah, no, you're right. You never buy the first generation of anything. I'll probably buy Gen 2 or 3.
I think Gen 2 is still for eyeballs. I think that's still super early.
Yeah,
I don't know, like eyeballs.
just replace it with Gen 3.
I mean, they're probably going to be expensive. You know what I mean?
That attitude.
I mean, I don't think my attitude defines the price. I don't, unless I make them, I guess. Then I guess I do define the price.
The TLDR of this talk is don't buy the first gen of everything, especially not eyeballs. But you know what? Speaking of eyeballs, you watching anything new this season?
Oh,
Eyebrow waggle.
you're doing my special segues. I see how it is. Uh, yeah,
Don't be mad that I'm better than you.
I'm never mad. Yeah, no, I picked up a lot this season. I still need to pick up more, but I'm not quite as busy as you, but definitely rough to always fit it in because so this is a personal pet peeve of mine, and I don't think it's anyone's fault. I hate it when I watch like 7 anime of a season and 5 shows come out on Friday. Please, I can't watch all 5 today. Please spread it out. Like spread out, like show some love to the other days. I don't have to obsessively sit here for 3 hours to be caught up every week. But yeah, no, I'm definitely watching a few. Where do you want to start? Do you have a genre you prefer? Do I just rattle off my favorites? Do I start with least favorites?
Um, I guess we could start cold and then go in hot. So I didn't actually get to watch every episode that has been out so far, but I did get to watch one episode of Joran, the Princess of the Snow and Blood, and I don't know what's happening, but I'm highly interested and highly invested already. There are still 2 more episodes at the time of recording. There are still 2 more episodes that I have yet to watch, but it's super interesting. The animation's really nice and the art style is gorgeous. Again, from what's going down in the first episode, I don't really know what's happening. I just know that I like this. This looks good. I'm resonating with it. But it also takes place during 1931, which is like that pivotal point in Japanese history, where there is still traditional Japanese garb being worn, but like Western styles are starting to come in. So you see some people wearing Western outfits and stuff. And I love period pieces, and I love period pieces where it's like a period piece, but then there's also like magic and like powers and all these interesting kind of things that are on top of it. So really enjoying that series so far, and we'll probably continue to watch it because again, art's absolutely gorgeous, and it's basically, again, I don't really know what's happening. It's just there's a group of assassins. You know that they are like doing odd jobs. The main character, she goes by Yukimura, but her real name's like Sawa. She has this ability where like this white crow comes down, attaches itself to her arm, and it makes her like like she does a kind of like a magical girl transformation, but with like more screaming and violent eruptions, which we love to see. We love to see some screaming, and that kind of makes it so that she gains these amazing powers, and she kills beast people, and I don't know, it looks really cool. I'm in. Can't wait to watch more.
I haven't watched it yet. It's also not on my list, so I'll probably wait on your verdict in like a month or two to kind of see what you thought, if you recommend it or not.
I'm gonna like it. I know, just it's very reminiscent of Blood Plus. If you're not familiar with Blood Plus or Blood the Last Vampire specifically, it's very kind of reminiscent of that, where like she's probably like a beast person hunting other beast people, and I love a good Vampire Hunter D nod. The Dampier killing or Alucard killing his dad. So I'm really into like the beast on beast murdering, I guess. I don't know. That sounds really wrong. Back to you, finger guns.
I mean, yeah. Back to you.
Oops.
It's raining. No. Um, no, I haven't watched that one. I mean, I know we have one in common that we started watching, so I think we just kind of jump in there, and that's Tokyo Revengers. So for the people unfamiliar with it, it's basically this. I don't know. Do you know how old he is currently in the current timeline? Like 26 or something?
He is 26, but he looks like he's 11.
Yeah. So the main protagonist is by Japanese societal standards, he's like a loser. He's not a full on neat, but he kind of works like a dead end job. Like I think, and he's bad at it.
Yeah. He's bad at it. His supervisor is younger than him. He mentions that as well.
Yeah. So, but in middle school he used to be like in a gang. So like he used to have friends, everything like that. And then, as per the usual anime trope, when he's waiting for the station, somebody pushes him in front of the train. And normally you get transported to another world in an isekai, but he get transported back 12 years in time when he's still in middle school. And this kind of happened. Well, I mean, I guess it's happening because his only girlfriend, his middle school girlfriend, had died the day before or the day of. The day of.
So he gets pushed in front of the train on July 5th and she dies on July 1st. So it's like 4 days later.
Oh, I thought you got put. Doesn't matter.
Anyway.
And he decides that he's gonna help her. He's gonna prevent her death and save her. So I think the premise is really interesting and the
Hmm.
concept is cool. Like
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of time travel, but I think this is fine.
Hell yeah, Doctor Who. Woo.
Yeah. And in episode one, he also travels back to the present after changing something. Like another person was supposed to die, and he ends up saving them, and they're alive and all that. So that's neat. But so far, in my opinion, that's the only thing the show is going for. It has an interesting premise, but it's already loopholing itself,
Yep.
and the art is fine. It's nothing to write home about. It's not memorable. The main character is not interesting at all. I hope he'll become interesting because his journey is like, well, if I'm a loser in the present, even if I get reborn into a second life, I'm still just a loser. So I have to change.
Yeah.
So like maybe he'll become interesting and like develop a spine and actually get some characteristics and become a full character.
Yeah.
But as of yet, it's just kind of it's lukewarm.
Yeah, exactly. Like for me, I'm kind of low key hitting snooze on it already. As for you saying there's nothing memorable about the art style, yes, there is. Those ears. Everybody in that show got ears the size of the United States. They are ginormous. What are those? Like, they are insane.
They are huge.
They're insane.
I guess when I say they're memorable, like in a couple years or couple months when the show is over, if let's even if I finish it, I'm not gonna remember the amazing fight scene in the show or how well drawn it was. Right? It's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with the art and the animation. It's just not excellent. You know what I mean? Like it's not Jujutsu Kaisen level.
For sure. It's also just confusing because he literally has the same exact face as he does at 26 as he does in middle school.
Yeah.
Like there's no additional meatiness to his face. There's no like his face being a little more like angular or different or his eye shape changing as he gets older. Typically like larger eyes is like more childlike, but like his eyes stay the same.
Yeah. His
Meanwhile,
voice stays the same.
his voice stays literally the same. It's like I don't know about you, but like it's just wild because I think at this point, like wouldn't you have hit like puberty and your voice would have changed? Maybe you have some funny cracking and stuff, but there's literally none of that.
Yeah, because I mean, I know why voices stay the same, right? Because voice acting budget, but not in anime last season. I don't know the English title. Sorry. Mushoku Tensei, amazing isekai where this deadbeat need gets transported into another world, but he grows up from the start, and there they handle it. They just have a new voice actor, but whenever he has an internal monologue, when he's thinking, you hear the grown up voice because that's what he sees himself as. So they handled that really well. Also, amazing anime. You should definitely watch. But yeah, like I said, I'm very lukewarm about it. I'll probably give it up until like episode 5 or 6, just kind of see if it'll show more promise. Otherwise, I'll probably drop it.
Yeah. I'll give it the college try. So I'll probably go to at least like 6 episodes, like you said. And then if it ends up not resonating, then it's gonna be a skippers for me, my dude.
Yeah. You know what? What show? I mentioned this, I think, last week or the week before. I don't remember. But I mentioned a show that I was like, really hope this one is wholesome and not like really like pervy and like messed up. Do you remember the after being rejected, I shaved and took in a high school runaway?
Yeah, I do remember that, and I was also low key worried. I'm like, this could go either way. This could either go like completely wholesome or completely degenerate. So, what's your verdict? I haven't had time to watch it. So,
I mean, so far, and keep in mind, there's only like 2 episodes out. It's actually very wholesome. It's also very believable. Like, it's not just. So I guess to set out the premise, it is actually as the title implies. uh, the series opens from a salaryman's perspective. He's the main character. He's on a date with like his boss, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to come to my place after this?" He's like, "Well, actually, I've had a boyfriend for 5 years. Whoops." And then he's mad, and then he goes drinking with like a colleague, and then he's still super mad that he got rejected. And on his way home, he just sees like this high school girl just sitting underneath like a lamppost, and he's like, "What are you doing out of here? Like, go home. Like, it's late." And she's like, "Well, I can't." And he's like, "Well, go to an internet cafe, go to a karaoke bar, sleep there." And he's like, "Well, I'm broke." And then that kind of gets going. She's like, "Well, I can stay with you." He's like, "What, for free?" And then she literally offers her body. Like, "No, I'll sleep with you." It's like, dude, don't say that. Not even as a joke. Like, don't do that. And he still takes her in, and she keeps offering herself, and he just keeps rejecting her. And the reason why she keeps doing it is because that's how she survived so far. And obviously, he's way nicer, and he openly, admits that he sees her more like as a child, and that he's kind of a guardian parental role. So he would never even consider her like that. So in that sense, it's very believable, right? That like a 26-year-old would not sleep with a 16-year-old, even if presented the opportunity.
One would hope.
Right.
Stares directly into the camera.
Right, exactly, right. But in the sense, but it's still believable because there are scenes where like she'll show cleavage and he'll still blush because cleavage is cleavage, right?
Wow.
But then it'll be like, don't do that, you know?
Yeah.
The art is great. So is the animation, like way more than it should be for like a show that's basically revolved around talking,
Yeah.
you know?
It's kind of like low key a slice of life, right? You would say,
Yeah,
maybe?
it's definitely a slice of life because he just goes to work, and and then it's just very wholesome. Like he buys her a futon because she complains that the floor is too hard, and the characters are all interesting. The humor is pretty good. I think there's definitely like a darker twist coming because you can definitely tell the show already makes it apparent by episode 2, like, oh, she's faking a smile, and I wonder why she ran away from home, and like why isn't there like a missing persons report from her parents, and what has this girl kind of gone through to have this mindset of I need to sleep with older men to survive, right?
Yeah. But at the same time, you can see me right now. I'm undulating, and that's because I feel like the depression garden hose is coming back out, and I'm ready to take a big long tug.
So far it's very wholesome, like I said, and just like cool little things, like he's properly taking care of her. The only thing I'm still worried about, because some anime tend to do this, like at the last episode, they're like, surprise, we're in love.
Uh,
And I really hope it doesn't go down that route. Like, I'm fine if like one of them, or I'm fine if she falls in love with him, but as long as he goes like, no, I don't see you that way. Like, I hope it just ends with like him like adopting her or something. Like that would be a wholesome ending. I'm behind that. But like I said, it's very realistic. Like, for example, he told his colleague about it, and he's like, "Hey, you should really start thinking about what to do with her because this looks really bad. She might get too attached, you might get too attached, like start thinking about a way out." So like it's how I think real people would handle it, right? It's not like one day he comes over unprompted and like he finds like a girl sleeping in his bed, like it's not the typical anime trope that you expect in those situations. So
yeah, I mean, it could go the opposite way, kind of like I don't know if you're familiar with Koi Kaze, but that's also a series that you thought it was gonna go one way, and the ending ended up being like, surprise, they're in love, and you're like, oh no, why?
what jumped to me was Myself Yourself. This is a long time ago. It was a very niche anime, and the reason why it jumped out at me is basically like a slice of life high school, almost harem anime, almost. And then it's all fine and normal, and then surprise, the last episode, out of nowhere, his sister, his blood sister, blood related twin sister, confesses her love for him, and he chooses her. And
Yeah.
I was like, wow, you really just went there out of nowhere, huh? Just unprompted.
That's literally what Koi Kaze is. Basically, it's like
Yeah,
their half brother and sister. He's significantly older than her. They move in together. He realizes he has feelings for his sister. He tries to quash them. He tries to go away, but then surprise, she's literally like in middle school and she's like, "No, I've loved you all along." Like big brother. And then it's just like, "All right, well now they're in love." And then yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
So it's like
oh.
I really hope this one does it a lot better than that. I do want to still fit in 2 shows before we can, and I think you know one of them because we definitely talked about it. Those Snow White notes.
Yes, I feel like Snow White Notes is honestly the sleeper of the season.
I disagree, but
It's
we'll get
calculated.
there.
Like, if you're not I know a lot of people probably are skippers on it, or at least that's how I feel because it's not a shonen. It's kind of, like, sentimental, but it's got, like, some wonderful music theory behind it, and I feel like maybe if you're sleeping on Snow White Notes, pick it up. Like, come on, it's so good. The art's amazing, the main character, like, wild stuff happens, but at the same time, it's just really good, and honestly, we talked about this when we started talking about the hype leading up into the season, and I was stoked for it because it just had to do with the shamisen.
Hmm.
Like, it was like, oh, and I knew it was gonna be sad because, the opening premise for the show synopsis was like, this guy plays a shamisen and learned it from his grandpa, the grandpa dies. So I knew it was gonna start off with that sweet depression garden hose straightly in my face, and it just kept, like, getting better. Like, every episode is awesome. Every episode has, like, a shamisen solo that's sickening, and it's just so well animated where like you can see like the sweat beating off their brow and sliding down their face when they're like playing the shamisen and stuff, and it's just so good.
Yeah.
It's just so good. Please watch it.
So this to come from somebody who I love sports anime too much. I would say like music anime is like a close second, but a big turnoff for me is when they just don't show them playing the instruments or they have like one song, that they just play over and over because they didn't have a bigger budget to record more. Um, those Snow White Notes does not suffer from that. They play authentically, they play well, they have different songs. They even have singing, like that duet between him and his mom.
Yeah,
Oh, I listened to it like 8 times already.
is really good, and like they actually animate their hands sliding up and down the actual neck, and it's not just like the animation's just so good. Ugh.
It's very accurate playing, the strumming included. Art is great, animation is great. Main character has a Kansai dialect. Love
Mm-hmm.
that.
Love it.
Love the countryside accent. It does deal with some adult themes, surprisingly. Like the first episode is a little bit weird because it introduces a character and then it takes them away. So that's a little bit weird. But it deals with like money problems, like the world of showbiz, agencies,
Mm-hmm.
death,
Mm-hmm.
cheating.
Mm-hmm.
It just goes through a lot, but it's definitely a show that's taking itself very seriously and so far delivering, right? Like, yes, he kind of got sucked into joining the Shamisen Club at school,
Yeah.
admittedly. And, obviously you can kind of predict he's going to make it big, somehow, and he's going to compete and he's going to win and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been amazing. I think I'm falling in love with the shamisen all over again.
Agree.
I cried at the end of episode 3, like, because like he didn't have his sound. I was like, oh no, he doesn't have his sound. And I just couldn't hold it in anymore. And I don't know, like, because normally I watch weekly, but this show I watched episode 1, 2, and 3 in one sitting because I was trying to catch up. So I was already feeling emotional like during episode 2. Like when him and his brother were playing,
Mm-hmm.
that really got me. Like the song specifically.
Yeah.
So like not even like the imagery they used or the parallels they drew, but just the song itself. Like, oh no, I'm falling in love with the shamisen all over again. And I don't know what to do with these feelings of keep watching and hope they stay contained. And spoiler, they did not. you know,
But also, just a little side note, older brother's pretty cute. I like his freckles. Kind of cute, my guy. Just saying.
just saying. Yeah, I mean, so far I like the cast. I didn't like I already forgot her name, the girl from episode 1, the one who disappeared. Because it felt a little unrealistic that she would just take in a stranger and then kind of leave her apartment. Yeah, like, and it felt it didn't need to be like that. I think they could have just led with the mother just being like, oh, well, if you're gonna live in Tokyo, so here's an apartment kind of situation.
Yeah, for sure.
She'll be back later, of course.
I hope so because I love her.
Yeah, she's great,
She's
but
amazing.
it just felt a little bit forced, I guess. But it's kind of whatever. Other than that, it's an amazing show. So if you've been burned by music anime before, definitely give this one a try. So far, time of recording, 3 episodes are out, and we've heard at least 3 songs,
Mhm. Yeah.
which is
I mean, they're technically yeah, they're
right.
yeah, at
No,
least
more, more, more,
in
more, more.
more
We
than that.
heard four or five, I would even say,
Mhm.
like just full on shamisen songs,
Yeah.
which is very surprising. And again, they might have blown all their budget in these first 3 episodes to make it happen, and now they're gonna keep repeating the songs. But they're already building up to a new song that he's gonna play probably next episode
Yeah.
for the grandma.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
and obviously he's gonna invent his own song as well throughout the show.
Yeah.
So definitely worth picking up. I think it's probably only gonna be like 12 episodes, so definitely recommend that.
Yeah. It looks so good, and honestly, I've never been more excited to watch an anime where some guy's gonna play music for a grandma than I am right now.
Probably the same. At least not that I can remember. However, you said earlier that this is the sleeper hit of the season.
I think so, yeah.
I disagree. There's one so far that I've seen, because obviously there's still more shows I need to watch, but one that stands on top of that.
Alright. Sports?
Backflip.
I knew it. I knew it.
So that show, all right, what I've seen so far, the animation and the art, it might be better than Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, it went that hard for no reason. It's just like, oh yeah, like
I find that incredibly sus, but go on.
like, oh, this family is eating. Let me animate all four of them independently doing different things at the table. Why? Because I can. Like everything is just animated. Like everything is lively. Like even when the characters are standing around, they're still fidgeting, they're still doing something. They're not just static characters. Initially I thought like, oh, this is CGI. This anime about men's rhythm gymnastics is CGI. I'm not gonna like it. But the only CGI parts are when they perform as a group. So like they have like a set piece of like a couple minutes long where the four boys perform, but every close up, every single person or two-person shot is hand drawn, no CGI. So it's just like the zoomed out four CGI, four person. And even though the CGI isn't bad, it's not Berserk level. It's not even close to Berserk levels.
I was about to literally say, I'm like, are we
No, no, no.
talking like PS2 graphics, 2016
No,
Berserk?
we're talking about like King and Ashura and like Baki levels of CGI. Like it's fine. Not Baki. Baki wasn't CGI. The other fighting anime that came out on Netflix that you probably haven't watched. Uh, like it's fine. It's if the entire show was that level of CGI, I would have been fine with it.
Mhm.
But yeah, amazing art. Characters are a little bit tropey, but an interesting trope. Like like you have the cool-headed character, you have like the overzealous captain, you have like the rebel gangster, like stuff like that. But it's very interesting still, and it's handled very well. Um, I love that show. Like it got me in the feels by episode 2, because obviously the main character he does have a history of sports, but he never really cared about sports, and this is the first sport he's interested in, but he's still a newbie. So while everybody else is like obviously been doing it for years or their entire life even. So it's definitely like you watch him struggle. Like I think it takes him 2 episodes to learn how to like do backflips.
Wow.
And the show even says like, well, that's a beginner move. But so it's gonna be interesting to see how they get to the nationals, because obviously that's the goal of every sports anime. You have to go to the nationals, you have to win the nationals.
Mhm.
So as far but it really got me in the feels. It's very well done, animated beautifully again. Art is great. Just I think that's a sleeper hit. Even if you're not into sports, because I think most people who are into sports aren't probably into like men's rhythm gymnastics. You know what I mean? I feel that's even a niche amongst sports, like outside of the Olympics, because we all love watching it at the Olympics.
See, I think it's gonna be the opposite. I think it's gonna be the next big thing after Free. Do you remember how everybody was obsessed with Free?
Yeah, so I thought this was going to be like Free. I thought it was gonna do like a lot of BL, but it's not so far. Like I mean, not that there's anything wrong with that, but Free obviously started as a commercial and just kind of extrapolated on that hype, right?
Mhm.
But no, this is not like that at all. Like there have been like no sexy shots, no sexy undressing, like nothing, like not even like an awkward hug or
Nah.
an accidental almost kiss, like nothing like that.
No. 100%. Yes, they don't do that, but 100% it's gonna be the next Haikyuu. It's gonna be
I don't know.
a lot of BL fangirls are gonna be about it, and that's totally okay. Like, I
Oh
support,
yeah,
obviously.
obviously, but I don't know if it's next Haikyuu though.
I cosplayed from Haikyuu, so clearly I'm biased. So
It's a sleeper this season, in my opinion, so far. But it's not Haikyuu level. Haikyuu elevated sports anime to something else,
back in my day, all we had was Ice Shield 21.
which also elevated sports anime. Well, not anime, elevated sports manga to another level,
Yeah,
right?
before that, there was Slam Dunk. That's
Which
it.
also,
I've only watched the big hitters, I guess.
yeah, no, I mean, I've probably consumed over 50 sport anime shows of everything. Okay, here's my hot take for sports anime as we wrap up this episode. I didn't like ping pong. That's it. People loved it. I couldn't get into it.
Really? I don't think that's really a big hill that people chose to die on. I mean, if you said that you didn't like the cycling anime, I think you'd get way more heat for that.
I love Yo Up Pedal,
Yeah, then you're fine.
but I no, but like ping pong animation, like non-sport anime lovers loved it a lot. So I think that's why it's a hot take.
All right, well, if you're out there and you loved the ping pong anime, go ahead and write below. Chat in. Let Milan know how wrong he is.
But and
And
also,
see if you agree with that hot take. But don't forget to, like, subscribe.
yeah, but also while you're down there in the comments, I recommend you more sports anime because I'm always hungering for more sports anime. No matter what it is, like to be clear, I don't care about the sport itself. I care about because it's almost like a shonen, right? I care about the competition, the camaraderie,
Hmm.
and in cases of like that doesn't apply to both, is you haven't seen it, but you might have heard of it. Is Big Swing? It was a baseball anime, and it was very like slower pace, and that was more. It also had like a lot of BL from the fans, and that was like more wholesome and just stuff like that. Yeah, I'm just recommending sports anime, and hopefully it'll be one I haven't seen yet.
Yeah, and while you're down there, recommend me anime that's gonna make me sad.
I could do that.
Give me the depression garden hose. Do it.
But with that said, if you like this episode, leave a like, comment like we said, subscribe, hit that bell to know when our next episode is going to be. I'll be one of your hosts, Milan, signing off. And as always, my other lovely co host.
Kelly, have a wonderful day.
See you next week.
Bye.